Kara, Hometalk's director of video, and today I'm stepping out from behind the camera to show you how I paint and repair cat scratch leather. The first step, prep your piece. Let's get started. Before getting started with this project, prep work is the most important. I already laid down a drop cloth to make sure that I don't get any paint on my floor because I'll be doing this project inside my apartment. And next, I'll be taping off the wooden legs with some frog tape. Frog tape is just my preferred tape that I use, but you can use blue painter's tape or anything else that you have lying around. And this is pretty straightforward. You're just gonna make sure that you cover all the wooded areas to make your painting a little bit easier so you don't have to be as careful when getting near the bottom of your piece. Once you finish taping off, the next step is to thoroughly clean your piece. Today, I'll be using an entire kit from Heirloom Traditions Paint called their Restore Coat, and included in the kit is this surface prep. I'll be using that today to clean my surface, get rid of any debris, dust, buildup, cat hair. Obviously, this is a cat scratch piece, so there's gonna be some dirt on it. I'm gonna go ahead and wipe down the entire chair, and then I'll be back to show you the next step. Once your piece is totally clean, it is time to address the cat scratches. These are not as deep as they could be, and it's okay if you do have deep scratches. Before you begin this step, I would take a fine grit sandpaper and just knock down some of the leather that maybe has been peeled up or could get stuck in the paint. If that isn't a step that you need to take, next we'll move on to taking the Bond and Flex product from Heirloom Traditions that also comes in the same kit that I'll be using today. And this is almost like a thick icing or putty consistency. And then you'll take the scraper tool and just ice the areas that have the cat scratches like you would a cake, or if you're filling a hole with putty or anything like that. It is best to lay it on a little thicker to make sure that you're actually covering these holes so you don't have to do this step twice. There's no real technique to this. You're honestly just making sure that you're covering all of these holes. Be liberal with the product and really get it in there, because this is what's going to mask all of the cat scratches and make your chair look like new again. So I'm gonna go ahead and cover all of these scratches, and then I'll be back to show you the next step. Once you feel like you have enough of the Bond and Flex covering all of your scratch surfaces, wet the glove that you're wearing and just smooth over the surfaces to get rid of any weird bumps or ridges to prep for a nice even surface to lay your paint down on. Don't make your glove too wet where the water is dripping off. This will just drip down, have the Bond and Flex drip down your piece, but just enough to create a movable consistency in the Bond and Flex to be able to easily spread it around your piece. Once I'm done smoothing out all the Bond and Flex, I'm going to give this ample time to completely dry before I go ahead and begin painting. The great thing about this product is you can also use it for ripped car seats or any other leather that needs repairing, not just cat scratch leather. Once you've waited for your Bond and Flex to completely dry, your next step is to take a rough sandpaper. I am using 120 grit and just knock down some of the high points from the Bond and Flex. This is just going to be prepping your surface once again for an even streak-free coat of paint. So go ahead and take your sandpaper to all the spots where you've applied your Bond and Flex, and then I'll be back to show you how to paint. This step is also super important to give your piece the leather-like feel. Once this is completely dry, it's, as you can see, it's still totally pliable and squishy, just like the leather would be if you didn't apply this to it. So you've cleaned your chair, you've sanded your chair, you've applied your Bond and Flex, you've waited for it to dry, you sanded down any rough surfaces, and you've cleaned off all of the dust residue. It is finally time to paint. Like I said before, I'm going to be using Heirloom Traditions Restore Coat Flex paint. This is a new paint that they've just come out with, and it's meant for restoring car seats and automobile interior, but like I said, I'm going to be using it on my cat scratched piece. So first, we're going to go ahead and shake this up and make sure it's well mixed. I'm going to be using the color Oyster today. All you're going to do is just dip your brush into the paint and paint it on the chair like you would if you were painting a wall or painting any other sort of thing. There's really no technique needed for this because that's what the roller is going to do. So once you go ahead and get an even coat on this, because my chair is dark and I'm painting it this lighter color, it is going to take me 2, maybe 3 coats to achieve a flawless finish. But I'm not gonna lay this on too thick. This does dry extremely fast, which is awesome because it makes it way easier for you to get the project done in one day or one weekend, depending on how big your piece is. But once you've laid down your first coat of paint, you're gonna take your roller and you're going to roll out the paint. And this essentially is eliminating any brush strokes and putting the chair back to like its natural leather texture. So I'm gonna bring you guys in a little closer and let you see exactly what I'm talking about. So like I said before, I'm just dipping my chip brush into the paint and painting it onto the chair like you would a wall or anything else that you're used to painting. Also, you can see that some of the brush has kind of flaked off onto the chair because this is a inexpensive chip brush. That will happen. Just make sure you grab it off before the paint dries. And then also an important note, you're gonna have to really get in there, lift up your chair depending on the style of chair that you're painting, and get in all the cracks and crevices, because that's going to be the first sign to anybody that you've painted this, is if you've missed the little spots in the chair. But once you've laid down your first coat of paint, you're going to come in with your little foam roller and you're going to roll out the paint so that you're eliminating any brush strokes that you've created and you're coming back to this natural leather texture. So like I said, this isn't gonna cover in one coat because I'm going from such a harsh dark color to such a light, this oyster color that I've chosen to match the rest of my decor. But I'm gonna let this completely dry and then come back with a second coat, and you are not gonna believe how well this covers. So after I finished applying my second coat, I went ahead and let my chair dry overnight just to make sure everything was good to go before putting my seat cushion back onto the chair. Here it is, all finished. I could not be happier with the way that it turned out. I love that you can see the leather texture still through the paint. It does not look like I painted this chair at all, which was the whole point of this. The cat scratches are gone, and now it matches perfectly with the rest of my living room. The best thing about this project is you can pick your paint color. I totally could have repainted this the same chocolate brown, completely customizable. I hope that you found this video helpful and you can now repair one of your cat scratch leather pieces. Thank you so much for watching, and happy home talking.